Welcome to Network Today. I'm Sheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're here to take you from meeting people to
making money.
It's the important part, right? But I'm pumped about this topic. It's Power Team.
I love this topic.
But I have to confess, I did zero prep.
Well, you're in luck because I did your homework for you.
Okay, that's right. I don't know what a power team is. I don't know why I need one. I don't know what it's comprised of. I just don't even understand. And I'm like, do I have to manage another employee group? Like, really, is that what this is about? So this is going to be a fascinating discussion because I'm just going to pummel you with questions, right?
Okay, so I'm going to start off by kind of defining what a power team is and why I'm going to encourage everybody to start their own. And we're going to give you a couple of tips and tricks here to do that. But a power team is what you want. My power team is anywhere from 9 to 12 sales professionals. And what they are the same. They're out there knocking on doors, making phone calls, prospecting, but they're not in my industry. But we've all talked about how we can find a prospect and share it with the other people. Therefore, I've got 9, 10 other people working for me.
Right.
Just like they've got 9 or 10 people working for them. So what we do is, for instance, the example would be is I'm in the telephone business. And so I look for companies that are moving or expanding. So then I go, how do I build my power team from that? Well, take a commercial mover. He's looking for that same lead. A copier rep, he's looking for that lead. Office furniture, he's looking for that lead. So we're building our power team with other sales professionals that are prospecting on their own. And then we can come together at the end of each week and share that information. So now I've got 4 or 5 hunters out there.
Now, question. So we're talking about referral partners, right? I've got a lot of them. I know you have a lot of them. But how do you narrow that down to 9 to 12? So,
well, great deal is because a power team member, you qualify them by if they can give you leads every single week.
Okay.
Because again, the primary source for my leads is companies that are moving or expanding.
Okay.
And so therefore, what we do is I look for those professions: the mover, the copier, the office furniture, the real estate broker. Okay.
Okay. All right. But what if they're not giving you leads?
Okay. Great question. Well, then number one is my first rule of networking is you've got to be proactive. You have got to be the one to encourage and train your power team members. Because again, people don't know the concept yet. I really truly believe that people, again, don't know how to network properly yet. And really, because it's tip of the iceberg. So that's what I love about what we're doing here at Network Today is, training, teaching, coaching our audience. But the power team, again, is so simple in one degree, but you've got to be proactive and coach these people. And so, because people, like in any other skill set, they got to be taught.
Right. Right. Well, and it sounds good in theory, but it sounds like a lot of work.
Well, anything, networking is all about working the system.
That's right.
And again, what you have to do is you have to work the system, but this is a high value proposition.
Okay.
This is going to be worth your time.
Okay.
And so therefore, when you spend time on something, you will have better results.
That's right. Well, I've got more questions to pummel him with. And one of those is coming from a networking partner, right? A referral partner that I just met with. And so we're going to have that discussion here a little later. So just prepare yourself.
Okay.
Because we're going to drill down a little deeper on what a power team is and how you build one out. But in the meantime, we are going to take a quick break and we're going to talk about Grand Slams when we come back. I know. Did you prepare for that one?
I got that one ready.
Oh, me too. So if there was a segment I prepared on, it was Grand Slam when we come back.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
All right, so I've got a grand slam. You've got a grand slam.
You go for it.
Okay, good, because this is really fascinating. And as much as we do this, I'm even amazed when you see it all kind of come together, when you see it come to fruition, right? There's fruit on the end of that limb, right? So the networking tree for me starts at Lysema Club again, and you know Peter Leahy.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
So we're both members up there. He's the board of governor. Anyway, he's on the board. And he's having dinner with some people, and I walk in with Norma Payne. We're going to go have some dinner, and he says, "Sheryl, I was waiting for you." And I'm like, "What?" And he says, "I want to introduce you to a gentleman, John. I hope I say this right. I think Matthias. So he's with a new Ryder, like the truck company, a division that they've created." So he wanted to get involved in the transportation club. Well, this guy's been an Uber networker, right? So you love this young guy, it's new concept. He is already bringing, like within just a couple of days, me leads into the club. So that in itself is at least a first or a second base, right? So we're already starting to fill up the bases. And I'm like, wow, I hardly even know this guy. So then last week when we come out of I think it was last week, the transportation club luncheon, and he says, "Sheryl, I have these guests that I want you to meet. And one lives here, one's local, one had come in from New York. And by meeting this guest, so it's Jason Joseph. I don't know that you'll ever have a chance to meet him, but this gentleman is an investor, right? So then he's like, "Sheryl, after we stood there and talked for about an hour, then we lined up another call to talk again last week. And now we've got this whole list of things to start working on, like big stuff."
Wow.
Yes, because he's working on all these like mega deals with mega investors, and he gets it too. And that it's just awesome to be when you do dial into those people. Many don't get it, but when you hit on the people like John and Jason that do get it, that's just brilliant. We don't know what'll come of this, but the opportunity for fruit. Took a couple of limbs, but really not too many in this case. And I think we'll have fruit come from this. I really believe it. So that was a good one.
That's a great story. My Grand Slam event of the week came from a good old friend of mine that you know, Myra Brown of High Value Signs. And Myra has been just slammed the last 6 or 7 months. But one of the things that we've talked about before is follow up with your networking community.
Right.
And I do that. And you have to be patient. And we've talked about that too. So with your follow up with your patient, I get a phone call last week from Myra saying, "I've got a great opportunity for you." And not just a great opportunity, he actually set the appointment for me.
Wow.
So
go Myra.
So I go out, meet with the client. Haven't got the deal yet, but it's a big deal. So I really want to, again, share with everybody, please practice your follow-up, practice your patience, keep in touch with your networking community because it will come back to you.
Yep. You'll have fall off, but then you have the Myras jumping up and making a play.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I love it. I love it. So when we come back, we're going to have some more questions on Power Team. Let's face it, employees waste time on the company dime. Why? Life's complicated. We help keep the junk of life out of the workplace and in the hands of the experts. Empowered Advantage, empowering employees, giving businesses the advantage. Letter M as in magnificent, poweredadvantage.com. All right, Rob. Sabrina's in the house. We've been waiting all week for this one. Sabrina.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Sabrina Turner. Y'all need to get to know her because she is like the lady with all of the plates in the air. Like, yeah, when you go to the carnival and you see the person there like doing all this stuff, you're like, how do they do all this stuff? That's Sabrina. Like she teaches them. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
That's right. So Sabrina Turner is our guest, and she actually is owner, mama, wife, network group runner. She's got a gazillion friends that she knows every one of them. Like a gazillion.
And one of the top networking meetings every month. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's awesome. So it's been around for about 16 years. I've actually run it for a little over 9. And it's a group called Legacy Connect Group. And we meet in North Dallas. And it's really all about giving to get. It's a servant leadership minded group. So everyone comes. It's vetted professionals, all B2B. And really, it's kind of cool. It's got a really interesting culture where everybody says it feels like family. And that's kind of what we just continue to promote. And it just continues to grow and grow. So it's a pretty awesome event. I feel very fortunate.
And how is Bill Wallace involved in that?
So I've known Bill for years and years. The original person of the group was Dave Peters. He was my mentor. And Bill and Dave were friends forever and ever and ever. So basically, he's just kind of mentored me when Dave passed away. I took over the event, and kind of ever since then, Bill's just kind of been a part of it and, shows up and comes, and we try to kind of cross pollinate a little bit with his group and my group.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Which is why the reason I bring that up, and you're like, why did you pick me for Power Team? Because you do have a Power Team. So Power Team is the discussion topic today. And Sabrina, she may not know it, is an expert at really utilizing those Power Team personnel, right? So key people in your life that are your go-to people that help edify you, you edify them, and help each other grow, right? Now, and actually, I told Rob the same thing when I'm like, hey, I'm not even prepping for the Power Team episode because I got nothing. Like, I don't know what it is. That's right. Yeah. So he really had to explain it to me. And Rob, I know that you were like, hey, Power Team, that is Sabrina. Why?
Well, first of all, she's developed this and, or maintained this incredible organization for over 20 years. And that speaks volumes right there. But it's such a diverse group of high quality professionals. And the Power Team, again, is all about, breaking that diversity up into the segments of where you have bankers, then you financial people, then you have your insurance people, then you have your B2B, business to business, then you health and wellness. So the different categories where we as networkers, we need to sort of break down the big community into smaller segments.
Right.
That's right. And within that segment, I know that you have key go-to people, right?
For sure.
So how do you, as somebody's trying to determine, I don't know, do I need a Power Team? Like, does it cost me? Like,
what does
do I have to put them on a weekly email drip?
Right.
So how do you keep in contact with those key go-to people that are reciprocal referral partners and keep that Power Team going?
So I kind of always refer to it as kind of the spokes on a wheel. So I always look at it like that. The nucleus is the client.
Right.
And then if you look at every spoke that goes off of that, that's your insurance person, your private equity guy, your banker, like everybody who is really an important person to that business owner. Yeah. And really from that point, I just try to keep those folks in my CRM system, kind of a special title in there. And that way I can drip whether it's different new products or services that we're offering or client stories, testimonials, just different things where basically I'm keeping top of mind for them.
Right.
And then constantly figuring out what is your message? What is your 2 to 3 sentence pitch that I can forward on to my clients and say, hey, what are you doing for 401k? What are you looking for a banker? Are you looking for a payroll person? And just trying to do things where I'm constantly trying to put all of my people kind of top of mind. Yeah. And that way, hopefully, it's all going to just come back to you. If you give to get, it's always going to come back to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have a question because this came up when Rob and I were talking about it. You have a Power Team, you assemble these people and everything's working, but then one of those spokes goes bad.
Right. That's
how do you handle that?
Happened before.
How do you handle that?
So actually, it's a great question because I actually have kind of double spokes, maybe. And so it's a lot of matchmaking if you think about it. So like, for instance, you might have someone who's very seasoned, been around for, 30 years. That has a certain type of personality. And then you might have someone young and up and coming with maybe more my type of personality. Yeah. And so I try to matchmake with my clients. So if I have 2 or 3 of the same type of person, then I know that maybe for Sheryl, I really need to introduce them to Susie instead of John. Yeah. And that way, if somebody falls off, I've already vetted other people and they've already, we've already worked together in a lot of capacities. And so it's easy just to kind of backfill that personality type or, whatever it is about them that makes them unique.
So does a spoke come off of the wheel just kind of like quietly? Is it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually try to just bury that thing really quickly.
I totally agree. That's what I told Sheryl too.
Yeah.
Kind of quiet.
Kind of quietly. Because I've had some people that like the whole wheel has gone off the bus and I'm like chasing after it. And, those are always interesting. But
have you ever done kind of an ROI on, your performance level when you have talking about strictly your Power Team versus your networking as a whole? Do you see a difference in that?
For sure. And I think a lot of it has to do with being intentional. I think one of my biggest issues is, time management, which I think all of us struggle with. And being able to kind of reach out to everybody in the networking group to kind of make sure that you're cultivating those backfill relationships or even new relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think with my kind of centers of influence type folks, I mean, I've honestly, my business started about 3 years ago and I haven't prospected. I've been really fortunate to get 100% referrals at this point. And that is completely because of this group of people, this power team that I've assembled over all of these years of my career. And so it's a fortunate place to be. And when I'm working with people who are new to networking, I'm like, you got to find these people, but you have to feed them first and cultivate it for them with no expectation of getting anything back in return.
So this is beautiful. So we talk about how network today is all about taking you from meeting people to making money, right? So, but this is a like a level up component of networking. So once you start networking and creating your sphere of influence, then you start cherry picking those key people that then help you build that referral. So you could either cold call the rest of your life.
No, don't recommend that. That's not any fun. Yeah.
Or you can move through this funnel faster and get to the money quicker through a power team. So
that's exactly
awesome.
Right. Yes.
See, look, this is so good.
I know, this is so fun.
I know. So you know what I'm going to ask as we wrap this up?
I think I've heard.
Okay.
I've heard.
So something that we don't know, that most people don't know, hopefully nobody knows, because we'd love to break it first here about you. And I know that you're from Fort Worth. So if anybody loves to connect with Fort Worth natives,
folks,
right?
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, you need.
So I think probably one of the, I think it's kind of cool, is I'm a big fantasy football person. I've been playing for probably almost 15 or 20 years.
Wow.
And I've won 3 of the last 4 championships. And I made some money and got some cool, weird bobblehead, trophies and whatnot. So I'm kind of a freak about it. So football season comes and just understand that like I am literally going to be on my phone, probably looking at my lineup.
Oh my God.
That's kind of the deal.
Man, that is fantastic.
Well, I'm glad we got you in when we did.
I know, 'cause
otherwise
it's almost football season, so you better beware. Yeah,
Any
that's right.
predictions for next year?
I mean, I'm always a fan of the Cowboys. They're my team, so I'm always just keep rooting. It's time. It's been a couple decades, so we'll go Cowboys.
All right.
All right. So we want you to connect with Sabrina. You want to connect with Sabrina, right? So start building your power team by connecting with her. So LinkedIn, right?
Yep, LinkedIn, Facebook.
And it's Sabrina, like Sabrina. That's right. You do that? Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
That's funny. Turner, as in Turner.
Yeah.
That's right. And then on Facebook, right?
Yep. Healthy Healthcare, Sabrina Turner. You can find me there.
All right. And
awesome.
if you miss out, then just ping us and we'll help get you connected because she's lovely. She's amazing. And she is a power team.
Thank you.
So
thanks for having me, guys.
You bet.
Yeah.
That's right. And we'll be back. Boy, power team. I'm so glad that we've been able to flesh something out that I was like totally clueless on. I'm like, I can't believe we're going to talk about power teams because I have no clue what a power team is. But now I do.
Well, power teams is huge because again, we all go to these networking events, meet lots of people, but we've got to put, we got to make, like you say, meet people, turn it into making money, and you've got to put your power teams together. I love what Sabrina said about the spokes of the wheel.
Yeah.
That was a new way for me to look at it, but so important because we have to break that large community down to smaller segments. The wheel analogy was awesome. And, she's done it to help her grow her business. I was amazed. She said in the 3 years of her business, she's never prospected. So awesome. Yeah. And that's what a power team is all about.
Yeah. But power teams take commitment because you have to build those relationships through networking, nurture and fertilize, for lack of a better term, like really be the caretaker of those relationships and then see what's going to stick and what's not. And like she said, you have to have a backup spoke.
Yeah.
Because that was go bad.
That was great advice on that. Absolutely. And, the other thing too is you've got to be, proactive on this whole thing because it's changing all the time.
Yeah, it is. So Sabrina, we appreciate you.
A small business is still a business. At Purple Cow Branding, we want to help you execute your greatest visions for your company. Purple Cow works for small businesses that don't have big budgets to spend on their marketing efforts. Inquire now at purplecowbranding.com to be the biggest little guy around. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
Are you ready for the questions?
I'm ready. Fire it.
Okay, so first I have to say that our guest had some amazing power team pearls.
Oh, man. Blew me away. So I get to add them to my little training program.
Who will train who?
That was just excellent stuff, but it shows you, again, the belief in the power team system.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into that.
Yep, absolutely. So I've got a question here. So as I'd mentioned earlier in this show, that this is somebody that I just had a one-on-one with right before we got in here, right? And he had some great questions when he was asking, so what is it that you're doing? What are you talking about? And so here's a question that he had regarding power teams. What is the best way to motivate power team members?
Great question. Great question. And it's a hard one too, because typically I get a lot when I'm meeting with power team members of trying to see if there's a good fit here, is one of the first things that people say to me is, hey, Rob, be on my team and we pay referral fees.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
So he was kind of on the right track, not really even thinking that he was on the right track.
So a lot of people do that because, again, if you think about it, we as salespeople, it's like we're running our own business. When we're getting leads from other people, it's kind of like a cost of doing business. It's kind of part of your marketing budget and so on. So why not invest a little bit of your commission and so on for other people? So
now this leads to part of the discussion that I had with him. And this is Curtis Harrison. So I know you guys are planning your get together. So part of our discussion when he brought this up, the referral fee part, was some people are offended.
Yes.
Right. So how do you avoid the offense?
Well, basically what I've done to that, and how do I answer that, is I said, you don't have to do referral fees. What I really want is I want a lead from you. Let's share leads back and forth, because if I give you a good lead, you're going to make your commission. If you give me a good lead, I'm going to make my commission. And that's what bottom line is. That's what we want, a sale.
So the way I do it, and I don't know if I'm doing it right, because again, I don't even know what a power team is. I say, so, hey, we can work one of two ways, right?
Okay.
Certainly, I'm happy to pay a referral fee. We can talk about what that needs to look like, or we can do quid pro quo, or neither, right? That's totally up to you. I'm giving you the opportunity to say no, right? And a big no. So that's how I handle that. You ready for another question?
Yep, fire away.
Well, that's the word he used. How did you even know? Oh my goodness. So how do you fire a power team member who's not producing?
Well, to be totally transparent here, is the way it is you just stop communicating with one another. They just fall off.
Freeze them out?
Yeah, just freeze them out. Yeah. Because again, they're not producing, they're not really doing the follow-up with you anyways. And so it really isn't a big deal. Way I help prepare for that, because earlier I said you need to be proactive with your team.
Right.
So what I always do is I have like 2 or 3 people sitting in the sidelines to see if my star number 1 player is, keeping the game up. And if they do fall off, boom, I bring in number 2. Because again, what I do, because I work hard at it, is I find a lot of moving and expanding leads per week. Therefore, I'm not going to give all of them to just one person.
Yeah.
Because typically I can give more leads than the other person. So I can then kind of throw a bone to my second and my third player.
Okay. So what if your second and third player, the first player knows the second and third players, and then they find out that now you're shopping it with the second and third ones and not the first, and they come back to you? How do you have that discussion?
Never had that happen.
Really?
Never had that happen.
Okay.
Because again, it's, as if I'm working my primary lead source there and I'm giving him leads, and if I'm producing, they're good leads. I mean, they're not just, I'm throwing them something and I tore, the page out of the book.
Yeah.
No, it's a good lead, qualified lead, then they'll take care of it. But if they don't, then I do start feeding other people.
Okay.
And again, sometimes it's, if you are a good prospector, there's nothing wrong. And I up front will tell my power team members that you're not the only person I'm giving leads to. So I'm up front with it.
Okay. I'm going to give you my word of the week then, because it speaks to this.
Okay.
Reciprocity.
Oh, love that word.
Because it's all a reciprocal process.
Right? It's business. It's business.
So reciprocity. That's the word for me. And I love it because it really, for me, it gives me the visualization of the boomerang effect that we talk about a lot, right? So you do give, but it does need to come back to you at some point.
Well, I mean, it does because again, sometimes people do get offended by that that you've got to, because there is the saying you should, like, and the Go Giver talks about this, is that you should just give and not expect anything back. But, there's another side to that point too, is though, when you're on the power team side, you're giving qualified leads that someone could make a $5,000, $10,000 commission check that you gave to them. There should be reciprocity there. It's business. I do give a lot of leads that may be cold leads or something like that, and I hand it off to somebody, and I don't expect anything in return. But I'm building my business. This is my lead generating tool. The only way to build my business is if I increase my revenue.
Yeah.
So I've got to have that as part of my plan.
Yeah. What if, and I know we have to wrap this up, we can't talk forever. We need to have like a chat system or something so the Network Today Nation can all join in and we can have like some elongated online forum, because there's so much to talk about here. But what if you have a power team partner and you've been working together for a while, and they're good at giving you leads and they're good at following up with the leads you give them, but then in regards to how they handle the client, it's not good. What happened? Have you ever had that happen?
Oh, I have had that happen. It's happened to me too. I mean, I'm not perfect, but what it is again, if you have a strong relationship, that you can sit down and talk to them about it and then figure out how you can help them. And so again, that's the whole part I like about if you have a true, authentic relationship, you can be honest about it, open about it, and help them. We all make mistakes.
Well, so it does sound like a power team is really one that communicates. Do you have everybody communicating together?
No.
Okay. So you communicate with out of the 9 to 12 individually,
one on
right?
one.
So you don't like come together and all. Because I do know some people who have their power team come together, like a referral.
Yeah. I tried that before, but now everyone is so busy and there's so many networking events out there that I decided just to do it one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Keep it simple that way.
That's right. So power teams, the discussion, we'd love to hear from you. And info@networktodaydfw.com. Make sure you subscribe too. I don't think people understand what the subscribing is all about.
And Sheryl, we're going to post some really good material about putting your power team together on the website. Okay,
so there's going to be amazing resources there, but only those who subscribe will get some of that behind the scenes stuff, including some special event calendar stuff that I'll be putting out through my event calendar, and including your Rob's library items, my tech tip tools.
That's a hard one. Say that 5
tech
times
tool
fast.
tips, yes, and a lot of other amazing stuff. So make sure you subscribe. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that we're tackling this topic, and I promise you, next time we come back, I'll have a much greater, deeper feel and discussion for Power Team. Cool. I might even give you an example of my own.
Excellent. And just remember, the power team can be your silver bullet.
That's right. Well, my last name is Powers. So I should have at least have a Powers team.
Yes.
Right. So this is Network Today, and we're here to take you from meeting people
to making money.
That's right. So, and good to see you back, my friend.
All right.
Cheers.
This has been a Purple Cow production.